January 41 AD. Emperor Caligula is dead, assassinated by his own guards in the tunnels beneath the palace. In an instant, Rome descends into total chaos. As soldiers ransack the imperial complex, they find a 50-year-old man cowering behind a curtain. This is Tiberius Claudius. For his entire life, his own family kept him out of the public eye, dismissing him as a stuttering, limping embarrassment. Up on the Capitoline Hill, the Roman Senate is actively plotting to abolish the throne entirely and restore the Republic. But the Praetorian Guard, the elite soldiers who just murdered the last emperor, know that without a monarch, they lose their high-paying jobs and their political leverage. So they grab the terrified, shaking Claudius, carry him to their fortified camp, and unilaterally declare him the ruler of the known world. Claudius has zero military experience. He holds no serious administrative office, and the aristocracy wants him dead. To survive the week, he has to figure out how to manufacture unassailable authority out of thin air. Claudius understands his immediate reality. He cannot rely on tradition, and he certainly doesn't command the Senate's respect. He has to literally buy his life. He promises every man in the Praetorian Guard a donative of 15,000 sesterces, amounting to roughly 5 years of standard legionary pay. He becomes the first Roman ruler to openly and officially purchase the loyalty of the military. Look closely at this gold coin minted during his reign. It displays Claudius seated inside the Praetorian camp, surrounded by the text Imper Recept, meaning Emperor Received. He is blatantly advertising the financial transaction that put him on the throne, reminding everyone who holds the swords. With the most dangerous troops in Rome firmly on his payroll, the hostile Senate is paralyzed. They have no choice but to drop their republican dreams and formally recognize him. In a matter of days, Claudius turns a hostage situation into a military dictatorship, carefully masked behind a civilian front. But his survival is still incredibly fragile. A scholar emperor commands no natural respect in a society obsessed with martial valor. Without a major military victory, he remains highly vulnerable to a coup. So, in 43 AD, he targets Britannia. This was a mysterious, unconquered frontier across the sea, a place that even Julius Caesar had failed to hold a century earlier. The invasion is highly calculated. Claudius sends his seasoned generals to do the brutal, heavy fighting. Once the hard work is done, the emperor himself travels to Britain, stays for exactly 16 days, and personally accepts the surrender of 11 local kings. He returns to Rome and throws a massive propagandistic triumph to completely rewrite his public persona. He commissions statues like this one, depicting himself not as a frail academic, but standing victorious with the symbols of a god. Through this strategic expansion, which also included annexing Lycia and Thrace, he successfully rebrands the vulnerable, stuttering outcast into a formidable and untouchable commander-in-chief. Yet, even with his military credentials secured, Claudius faces relentless domestic paranoia. The aristocratic Senate continues to plot against him, leading to the execution of over 35 senators during his reign. His solution for long-term survival is ruthless. He decides to strip administrative power away from the hostile aristocracy entirely. Claudius builds his own centralized civil service. He elevates highly competent formerly enslaved men, known as imperial freedmen, to run specialized bureaus for finance, correspondence, and justice, cutting the senatorial class entirely out of the loop. While neutralizing the Senate, he buys the loyalty of the common people. He initiates massive, pragmatic infrastructure projects to secure Rome's volatile food and water supplies. Look at the scale of the Aqua Claudia, completed under his direction. Projects like this, alongside a massive new deep-water harbor at Ostia, demonstrate a ruler focused on systemic stability rather than aristocratic tradition. By the end of his first decade, Claudius had replaced traditional patronage with a wall of bureaucracy, securing his life through systems rather than senators. Then comes the tragic irony. After 13 years of outmaneuvering the deadliest politicians in Rome, Claudius is poisoned from within his own household by his wife, Agrippina, in October 54 AD. With Claudius dead, the humiliated senatorial class finally gets their revenge by writing the history books. Elite writers like Suetonius, Seneca, and Tacitus embark on a generational smear campaign. They paint him as a drooling simpleton, a weak-minded fool, constantly manipulated by his wives and his freedmen staff. The very people Claudius bypassed for the good of the empire ensure his historical legacy is defined by his physical impairments rather than his political acuity. But modern archaeological and epigraphic discoveries tell a completely different story. Take a look at this artifact, the bronze Lion tablet. It preserves a speech Claudius delivered to the Senate. These dense, meticulous Latin inscriptions reveal a highly intelligent administrator who drafted nuanced legal and social policies. Reading these exact words proves his active, controversial integration of provincial elites from Gaul into the Roman Senate. He was actively expanding the legal definition of who could be considered Roman. This evidence reveals a ruler who prioritized a professionalized civil service and the integration of the provinces over the traditional whims of the elite. The accidental emperor established the structural foundation that allowed Rome to govern its vast world state for the next 200 years.